What up, racers? Thank you so much for your patience over the last week and a half as I have dealt with some loss in my life. Thank you so much for all of the direct messages you've sent and all of the kind words that you've left on Discord. But enough of that, let's get back to racing. We've had a lot of new people join the league, 5 new drivers in the last week and a half, so we've had to create a new division since we're in mid-season. And this is actually kind of cool because it's a division that should exist anyway, which is the amateur division. And so the path that you will take when you join the league is you start as an amateur, you move up to RC Pro-Am no matter what track you're on, and from RC Pro-Am you either go on the NASCAR or the F1 track. So without further ado, all amateurs will race in preheat races prior to all RC Pro-Am races. So the RC Pro-Am race videos will also have your amateur pre-races. So here are our 5 new drivers. The number 77 car for Gordon, the number 0 car for Unknown, who's technically signed with Quiet Racing, but is now racing with Jody Racing in the amateur until they move up. You've got the 47 car Joy, who is racing right now for Montana Motors, but is owned by Algabo Racing. You've got Orion Racing's number 55 Fritz, and Team Sandlot's number 41 car. So without further ado, we're going to be on the Duckling circuit. 5 cars. We're going to do 7 laps here since this is a pre-race. We're not going to have a qualifier. We're just going to get this dang show on the road. So, without further ado, let's race. So right now, amateurs start out in the karts. So it's the basically entry-level car. They're basically go-karts. But they will race on the same karting circuit as the RC Pro-Am and the Super Karts. Right now we got the 41 car for Team Sandlot in the lead. 41 car, no pun intended. Justin Carr has the lead right now. Tight here, 3 wide here on the straightaway. Gordon, Unknown, and Fritz with Joy in 5th, but not too far behind here. Car looking pretty good. Gordon on the straightaway. Nice boost there by Unknown driver, getting into 3rd past Fritz, but Fritz returns the boost favor and takes him over on the inside, but then loses again. That's one of the cool things about the Duckling kart track. It has got a lot of turns, a lot of curves, a couple of straightaways where you might be able to catch up some time, but some really hard curves on this. For anybody who's new to the game, top right, you'll see the weather. Right now it's sunny. You'll see the soft tire. That's the type of tire that each one of these cars are on right now. And then the tire bar, which is the green bar that is vertical next to the word soft. That tells you where your tires are at. And as you can see in the top left, it's highlighted. Car is highlighted because that's the car that I'm zoomed in on right now. I can move around. As you can see, I can go from Joy to Unknown to Fritz. And anytime I change the driver, it will change the screen whose tires I'm looking at. So, and the green taskbar that's over the cars, that is the damage bar. Damage is accrued when you run into each other, when you run into walls, and drivers generally pit when either their tires are getting too low in that top tire bar or the damage is getting low. I don't expect to see much pitting in these pre-races for the amateurs. As you can see, all the tires are looking pretty good, as our Fritz has picked up a little bit of damage. Joy, who's been in last all race so far, he doesn't have any damage because he hasn't ran into anybody. So that's kind of a quick down and dirty about what things look like on the screen. There is weather changes. It notifies you on the screen. Right now, Carr has a pretty sizable lead over Gordon heading into, we're in lap number 6. Followed by Fritz, Unknown, and Joy. But again, this is where all of our drivers are going to start. Any new guys or gals who start our league will start in this division, and we'll grow this division out as time progresses. But right now there's 5 people who have joined, which is pretty awesome. It means the advertising is working. It means people have some interest in this. And we've got a lot of goodies coming. I mean, if you've ever been in one of our leagues before from other sports, we have a lot of goodies coming. And this is a type of race that's really easy to run, a league that's really easy to run, so that allows us to put a lot of goodies in there. So it looks like Carr is going to win this race. He's pretty much had the lead most of the race here. He's going to take the checkered flag, followed by Gordon, Finn, Fritz, Unknown, and Joy. But everybody was really close, so there we are. Carl, Gordon, Fritz, Unknown, and Joy for the race, the preheat race. So let's get back into RC Pro-Am right here. They're in the RC truck, so you start as a kart, then you go to RC, and if you're NASCAR, you go to the trucks. If you're F1, you go to the karts, and then from promotion there, you go to the NASCAR stock cars or the F1. So let's go here. We got a new driver on the screen here, Edward for BS Racing, number 12 car, promoted into the RC Pro. And without further ado, these are your racers, and let's get this show on the road. Duckling. This is going to be a 15-lap race. Actually, it's going to be 20 cars, 15 laps. Qualifying is on. So let's do it. And for those that are just watching, I say the same thing every time when we do qualifying. This is a qualifier. So instead of watching 20 different qualifiers, it superimposes all of the qualifying on top of each other. So you're not watching 20 cars right now on the track. You're watching where each one of those cars were at this moment in time on the qualifying lap. So right now Romeo has jumped out. As you can see, Romeo has the lead technically of where he was right now on this track during qualifying. Looks like he's got a pretty hot car here on qualifying. And Romeo has the pole position. And here we are with the pole. Romeo, Tony, and Tree. So, race is going to begin. Romeo's got the pole. And we're tweaking a lot of the settings right now to try to find what gives us the best race experience. Right now I'm allowing AI to define which tires are on the car. Some leagues have it's set up where everyone uses the same tire to try to neutralize everything, but I'm just going to tweak things as we go to see how things work. Because in the end, we want the coolest experience we can possibly have that kind of is innovative and unique, but also entertaining. And so we'll tweak here and there trying to figure out what the best settings are. There's not a ton of settings in the game, so that's actually good, because I think sometimes the more settings you have in a game, the more convoluted and complex things get, and we want to have an easy, fun league. We all have lives. We don't want to be messing with settings. We don't want to have all these choices that we have to make. We just want to be able to jump in the car and win some races. So after lap 2, we've got Romeo in the 96 car for Rainbow Warriors still in the lead, followed by Edward, who is in his first race, jumping out into the pole, right up near the pole in the 12 car in the second place, with Bubba Wilson in the 36 car, purple car for Top Gun Racing in third at present. Let's take a look through the field a little bit. Here's Ganache and Perez and Tree battling here in the 5, 6, and 7 spots. Both cars from Algobo Racing in that light blue. And Perez sandwiched in there with Gunner Motors. Romeo still has a decent lead up in the front. Let's kind of scroll through a little bit. Here's Reynolds, number 35 car for Quiet Racing, sitting currently in 7th place with Seb Vet and Cargo. That nice, pretty blue car right here, Seb Vet, is Hot Wheels Racing, and Cargo is in Invisible Elephant Racing. But Cargo's had a tough race right now. You can see he's smoking out of the back a little bit. He's picked up some damage in this race. Expect him to be pitting. You've already seen some of the field pit right here. You got Seb Vet and Cargo both pitting, which means you're going to see at least probably 2 pits in this race. Let's check back with the leaders. So we've got Wilson in first now. Number 36 car for Top Gun Racing has the lead, and he's going to go ahead and pit. It's interesting to see when the AI pits. A lot of times if the leader pits, the people right behind them will pit. And then you'll see some odd pits, you know. Some of it's just based on timing, I think, where you're at in the race and how far they think they can get off some of these tires. There is the ability to DNF in this game. But right now, we've got a new leader, Ganache, 7th lap. Got a pretty hefty lead here, almost 4 seconds. Now it is 4 seconds. So He's looking pretty good on damage right now through 7, so I don't think damage will be a problem with him unless he has some damage coming up on the trying to lap people, which is a concern. Sometimes the lapped guys don't move out of the way. And his tires are about halfway, so, you know, if Ganache holds this lead and doesn't pick up any lap damage, then he just may cruise to the victory here. But let's see, we've got Tony in second. Looking pretty good here. He's cut the lead a little bit. Now he's about 3 seconds behind, followed by Wilson. Romeo has dropped from first to fourth, but still looking pretty good out there. He's going to likely make the rest of this race, looking good on the tires, looking good on the damage. Followed by Perez in fifth, Edward in sixth, Aviard in seventh. Aviard is full damage. Bubba Tree, Joshua, and then Reynolds rounds out the top 5 here. Reynolds making a nice move there, takes over Joshua to move into 9th place. But the lead's starting to get smaller here for Ganache. As you can see, his tire wear, he's picked up a little bit more. He's getting a little loose around these edges, picking up a lot of tire wear, which is allowing Wilson to just catch him and just burns right past him. Nice move by Wilson. Wilson's looking good on his tires, looking good on his damage. Tony just passed his teammate Ganache. Yeah, Ganache's tires are hurting him right now. The calculus of staying out there and not pitting. It'll be interesting to see where Ganache finishes with these tires, because everybody surrounding him looks to have pretty good tires. And Ganache, there's only 2 people in the whole field that haven't pit yet, and that's Ganache and Joshua. And here is Finley and Bacon in 18th, whereas there's 19th and 20th place. So these guys are struggling, but they haven't been lapped yet, so they're still on the main lap as the leaders, so that's good. New leader here, Tony. Tony's taking over Wilson. We're going to watch this battle for a while. As a matter of fact, let's zoom in and see how this battle plays out. Wilson uses the boost, pulls away a little bit, but Romeo is right there on their tails. So right now we're looking at Tony. And there's Romeo. So Romeo looking pretty good with his tires. He's fine. And then Edward in fourth, smoking a little bit. Edward's looking rough. But here's a nice battle. Wilson and Tony. Both of these racers should make it. But here we've got Bainsey smoking in the back. They're trying to lap Bainsey here. This is where it gets a little dramatic. Lap 14. Whether or not the lap car lets them pass, because you got all 3 right here on the tail of Bainsey. Wilson gets around, no problem. Well, then Bainsey cuts him off, but wow, a lot of banging around here. But Romeo and Wilson steer clear. But Wilson has the lead heading into the last lap. Bubba Wilson. Tony's trying to get her in there. Romeo gets around. Wilson looking good. Wilson smoking just a little bit, but not enough. We'll finish this race. Pretty hectic race here. Everybody trying to get around Bainsey. Tony steers clear. Tree's trying to get in this. Wilson's going to take the checkered flag. Romeo. And then Tree just edges out Tony. Look at Bainsey just spreading oil and smoke all over the field. So there's your top 10. Wilson, Romeo, Tree, Tony, Reynolds, Edward, Aviard, Ganache, Vet, Perez, and Cargo finished in 11th. Here comes Joshua, and Bainsey ended up pitting just so he could finish the race. Here are your finishers. Top Gun Racing gets top billing here. Nice race there by Wilson, edging out Romeo and Tree, followed by Tony, Reynolds, Edward, Aviard, Ganache, Seb, Vet, Perez, and here's your bottom 10. Cargo, Cabral, Jenkins, Robinson, Joshua, Bacon, Letterman Jr., who has been lights out the first couple of races, won the first 2 races, goes from winner all the way down to 17th, and then followed by Finley, Barry, and Bainsey. Well, thanks for tuning in. Again, we should be back on a normal schedule now. I appreciate everybody's patience, and thank you so much for being in the MVP Racing League. And welcome again to all of the new drivers. Thank you so much for being here. It means a lot to us. Thank you. Bye.